Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are Arizona.
Baseball on a Tuesday night here in Arizona. The Diamondbacks back at Chase Field. Fans flocking in, ready to watch Game 2 of this three-game series against the Atlanta Braves. Paul Goldschmidt, his 10th home run of the year last night. Goldie and company ready to face the Braves. Julio Teheran, Patrick Corbin on the mound for the D-backs. Good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly along the way. Bob, the Diamondbacks had a nice 5-game win streak going. Suddenly it's turned into a 3-game losing streak.
Well, that's what happens when the bats go cold at exactly the wrong time. The pitching went cold at exactly the wrong time, and it happens. But one thing you hang your hat on, rather, is Patrick Corbin taking the mound tonight.
That's for sure. We'll talk about Patrick in a moment. First, though, let's take a look at the two first basemen in this series. It's interesting to take time now to look at our lows, never stop improving player of the game. And it's a question of who's on first.
Well, both these guys, similar career paths, tore up the minor leagues. You talk to Freddie Gonzalez for the Braves. You talk to Kirk Gibson from the Diamondbacks. They say the same things about their two first basemen. They want to get better. They want to learn. They listen. They're constantly improving. Freeman coming back from an oblique injury. The power numbers aren't there yet, but you get the feeling these two guys are going to be battling for that National League All-Star berth.
Yeah, just two of several young and talented first basemen in the National League. On the mound tonight, speaking of young and talented, Patrick Corbin for the Diamondbacks.
Rarely does a team look to their number 5 starter to stop a losing streak, but Patrick Corbin has been far and away the best starter in the Diamondbacks rotation this year. I think the biggest challenge for Patrick tonight is going to be his ability to not only throw strikes, but to throw the ball out of the strike zone when necessary against this very free-swinging Braves team.
It's Patrick Corbin for the Diamondbacks, Julio Teheran for the Braves as we get set for Game 2 of this 3-game series here at Chase Field. When we come back, Brad rejoins us. We'll take a look at some questionable base running by the Diamondbacks last night as they lost the series opener here. More Arizona Diamondbacks baseball comes your way next here on Fox Sports Arizona. you in part by the UPS Store. Flyers, business cards, brochures, and more. We can print that. By George Brazil. George Brazil guarantees the lowest price on a new AC system. Call George today. And by Chase Bank. Sending money is as easy as sending an email with Chase Quick Pay.
And welcome back to Chase Field. The D-backs trying to snap their three-game slide, and that young man, Patrick Corbin, looking for his 6th win of the season, facing the East-leading Atlanta Braves, Game 2 of this three-game series. One thing the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to be all season long is aggressive on the base pass. And lately, it's cost them a little bit. They've made some mistakes in last night's game, but one of the key things that Kirk Gibson has talked about all the time is, yes, there are going to be some outs made. They've been caught stealing 12 times this season, but he wants to plant the seed in the opposition when they scout this team that they are going to be aggressive, and sometimes he says down the line that's going to pay off. Here Cody Ross trying to stretch it. He was nailed at the plate, but this team knows that if they're aggressive, good things are going to happen. Here's Cliff Pennington.
We don't necessarily steal a ton of bases, but we're definitely going to come out of the box hard and try and get to second if the outfielder decides to take his time, or first, going first to third, first to home. We're going to try and do that stuff the best we can and put pressure on the defense, make them come up clean with the ball, and maybe try and rush them a little bit. Maybe they boot it a little bit.
Well, the D-backs need to get their offense back tonight. They lost 10-1 last evening to the Braves, a team that leads all of Major League Baseball in terms of home runs with 52. Will the long ball be in play again tonight? Let's hope it's on the D-back side. Goldie. Could it be Goldie gone? Steve and Bob have the call next. Tuesday Night Baseball on Fox Sports Arizona.
.175 ERA, 5th best in the National League, ahead of names like Bumgarner, Wainwright, Strasburg. Only 8 National League pitchers are allowing fewer hits per 9 innings, and he takes his perfect record, Bob Brentley, to the mound tonight on a gorgeous night here at Chase Field.
Beautiful night for a ball game. Freddie Gonzalez running out those thumpers that we saw here at Chase Field last night. This Braves team, they strike out a ton. They hit a lot of home runs. If you happen to be here for batting practice today, the Braves must spend thousands of dollars a day on batting practice balls. They just hit one after another all over this ballpark.
It was like a hailstorm out there in left field. Here's the lineup tonight for Freddie Gonzalez.
Yeah, we highlighted Freddie Freeman in the open of the show. He suffered an oblique injury, was on the DL for 15 days. Just hasn't found that power stroke yet coming back from that injury. The average is good, but there's plenty of power up and down this lineup to make up for it until he gets going.
Our Arizona 4 Diamondback starting pitcher Patrick Corbin. Only 10 others have given up fewer base hits this year than Patrick Corbin in the National League.
I don't know how you can do much more than Patrick Corbin has done for the D-backs. He's been matched up against some of the best pitchers in the game, including Clayton Kershaw, Matt Cain, Cole Hamels, and he's more than held his own.
Andrelton Simmons leads it off. We're underway at Chase. There's a strike, 0-1. Simmons 0 for 4 with a walk here last night. .243 on the year, 4 home runs and 16 RBIs. Third base, Eric Chavez, the backhand with a long throw. 6 gold gloves, 1 away here in the first. Defensively, the Arizona Diamondbacks look as such. Martin Prado, the former Brave, in left field tonight.
And when the music stops, grab a glove, grab a position for Martin Prado. As you said, in left field tonight, A.J. Pollock in center, Gerardo Parra over in right field. We've already seen Eric Chavez at work here tonight. Great defense from this entire Diamondbacks roster so far this season.
The best defensive team in the major leagues. Here's Reed Johnson. He's starting in center field tonight in place of B.J. Upton. And he drives the first pitch to the gap in right center. A.J. Pollock won't get there. It rolls in front of the pool. Reed Johnson can run. He'll stop at second base with a 1-out double. B.J. Upton out with a left shoulder contusion. He was hit by a pitch by Wade Miley last night, and so far so good for Reed Johnson in his place.
Well, Reed Johnson has really found a nice niche in Major League Baseball as that fourth outfielder. Real good pinch hitter off the bench. He had more pinch hits than anybody in baseball last year. Great guy to have on a team. Available to come in as part of a double switch, or as I mentioned, a pinch hitter, and gets the Braves' first hit of the game with that double to the gap in right center.
And after his 4 for 5 night here last night, more boos than cheers for Justin Upton as he steps in.
Just as it should be.
A triumphant return, to say the least. Corbin ahead again, 0-1. That'll be a recurrent theme here. Upton 289, now 13 home runs and 23 RBIs. Last night, 2 singles, a double, and a long 2-run home run. This is there, 2-1. This was Justin Upton, Bob, last night.
Pretty much what he did all afternoon in batting practice. Just clubbed that ball just to the right of straightaway center field, way out of here.
Hanging change up from Wade Miley in a bad spot, and Upton cranked it out of here. Here's the 2-1 now. Corbin behind, 3-1. That was Upton's first home run in 14 games. He'd batted only .205 since, after hitting 12 home runs in his first 23 games this year. Three and two.
You saw all his teammates up on the top step of the dugout over on that first base side. Justin Upton is must-see TV. He might hit a ball 600 feet. He might screw himself into the ground swinging and missing.
Either way, it's a show. Must-see TV right there. 3 and 2 now. Missed inside, ball 4. Justin Upton last night taking care of business. The amazing rewards credit card from NBAZ. Learn more at NBArizona.com. 4 for 5, including his 13th home run of the year.
He did ground out weakly to third in his first at bat.
Thanks for sharing.
Just trying to spin it, partner.
Roof and panels open here. Freddie Freeman steps in. So Corbin with some work to do here.
Patrick Corbin has been good in this particular situation all season long with runners in scoring position. The opposition hitting only 133 against Patrick.
Reed Johnson at second with a double. Upton at first with the walk. Freddie Freeman 2 for 5 here last night. Single, a double. He scored twice.
Yeah, we talked about Freeman a little bit in the open. It was amazing talking to Freddie Gonzalez about Freeman, and he said a lot of the same things that Kirk Gibson has said about Paul Goldschmidt. Occasionally they have to throttle him back because he wants to work too hard. He wants to learn. He listens. Very coachable. Obviously has some physical gifts.
There's the strike, 1-2. Yeah, you forget seems like he's been around a long time, but Freddie Freeman is only 23 years old.
Yeah, much like Paul Goldschmidt, just tore it up in the minor leagues, ripped his way through the Braves system. For a big guy that will hit for power once he gets 100% healthy again. He chokes up on that bat a little bit, especially in the 2-strike count here. You can see he's got that right hand up off the knob of the bat, choked up maybe a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch on the bat. Still extremely fast through the hitting zone.
Here's another 1-2. Look out in the dugout. That was a rocket in there. Arakinski. Yeah. I was a former teammate. What's up with that? There's another one to the gap in right center. Parr's under it. He will not run on his arm. This had just enough, kind of a sinking liner enough to get over the railing there and then down into the dugout.
Left fielder.
Scatter the gallery. Look out.
Yes.
I always find it funny, partner. You hit a ball into a major league dugout and everybody gets as far away from the ball as they can, but you hit one up in the stands and guys will ruin a $1,000 suit diving down in the peanut shells trying to grab a baseball.
Wade Miley recreating the incident there. Here's Evan Gaddis. And you were talking about the batting practice show.
Oh, my.
This was your guy, right?
Unbelievably quick bat.
As we see, right field, Gerardo Parra backing up. Spins around. He's got the ball there. That's the out as the Braves strand 2 here in the first. We'll go bottom 1. No score. Chase. Arnold Power in the leadoff spot tonight against Brave starter Julio Teheran.
Teheran has been the #1 prospect in the Braves organization 3 years in a row. Perfect record of 2-0, but you look at every other number, it hasn't been pretty for Julio Teheran this year. The .319 opponent's batting average, lefties really beating him up to the tune of a .377 average. He surrendered 4 of his 6 home runs to left-handed hitters.
Let's take a look at the Arizona Diamondbacks starting lineup, brought to you by Scottsdale Healthcare.
I mentioned the left-handed batting average because Kirk Gibson, as usual, loads up with some lefties in the lineup tonight. Eric Chavez in that cleanup spot. Miguel Montero back in the lineup tonight, hoping to get him jump-started.
Arnold Power steps in to lead it off here in the Arizona first. .314, 3 homers and 11 RBIs. Parra 1 for 4 here last night. Things have gone much better lately, since he started using that changeup more. That's become a signature pitch for him. Right back at you.
I mentioned Gerald Laird doing the catching tonight. Freddie Gonzalez didn't feel comfortable having a rookie pitcher on the mound and throwing to Evan Gaddis, a young catcher, behind the plate. He wanted to give Brian McCann the night off against Patrick Corbin, so Gerald Laird gets the nod. Teheran occasionally can get a little intimidated by the bright lights and the third deck at the stadiums. Tries to throw 1,000 miles an hour, which is definitely not his game.
Here's Didi. First pitch swinging high in the air, right field. Justin Upton at the wall. And he's got it just shy. Allowed out number 2 from Didi Gregorius.
First baseman, number 44.
Sounded good coming off the bat. Good solid contact. Unfortunately hit it really high in the air to right center, giving Upton enough time with his great speed to run over there and track it down.
Paul Goldschmidt, a home run and a double here last night. The home run is 10th of the season. His 31 RBIs tied for the National League lead with Brandon Phillips and Troy Tulowitzki. A reminder, every time a Diamondbacks player hits a home run this season, Fulton Homes will donate $150 to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association. This was Paul Goldschmidt last night.
That pitch wasn't even on the inside part of the plate. We've seen teams pitch Goldie away. Those very rare instances where he gets a pitch on the inside part of the plate, he rarely misses it. Good swing that time. Some pitching coaches will tell you that you have to work both sides of the plate. You've got to come inside in order to get that outside part of the plate, but it just seems like every time teams try to come in on Goldie, he makes them pay.
He turns and he crushes it.
Pitching coach Roger McDowell over there peering over the railing.
He's ducking for cover. High in the air, right center field. Reed Johnson wants it. Right in front of the pool. An 8-pitch inning for Julio Teheran. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go top 2. No score.
Ooh.
Braves and Diamondbacks, no scores. We get set for the second inning here. Dan Uggla. Uggla 1 for 4 here last night, a double and an RBI. Once again, Patrick Corbin getting ahead.
He's in a rut. First pitch strikes. So important for any pitcher.
Uggla at 197, 7 home runs and 13 RBIs. He is 1 for his last 14 up there. Uggla can be a confounding player. He's got great power. Strikes out a ton, actually walks a fair amount as well. In fact, he led the league with 94 walks last year. But he struck out at least 149 times every year for the last 6 years. Right on cue. One away in the second.
He's on his way this year.
That's number 50 this year.
Wow.
He has struck out now 50 times in 128 at bats.
And you know, it's funny. You go down there around the batting cage while the Braves are hitting. I was talking to Greg Walker, their hitting coach, today, and they're not in the least concerned about strikeouts. He said, we may punch out 15 times in a game and we'll come back the next day and hit 6 home runs, or we may strike out 15 times and hit 6 home runs in a game.
Yeah, it's more likely to be both.
Yeah.
From what we've seen so far. Speaking of that, here's Chris Johnson. Had a career last night here. He was the undercard bout on the former Diamondbacks return heavyweight fight. But he did just as much damage as Justin Upton. Went into last night in an 0 for 18, but busted out in a big way. Single, double, a home run, 3 RBIs. He had been 0 for May coming into the game. The base hits were his first since April 30th. And they came in a bunch. There's a strike, 3-1. I like this camera angle. This is like you go back 75 World Series. You can see Louis Tiant or Bill Lee out there spinning around. Did not go, says John Hirschbeck. 1 out walk for Chris Johnson, who's on base again here. Second walk for Patrick Corbin.
Catcher number 11, Gerald Laird.
So 1 out, 1 on, and here is the catcher, Gerald Laird. Pretty effective hitter lately for a backup guy who doesn't play a lot. He's really the third catcher on this roster now that the team has both McCann and Gaddis here, but as you can see, been pretty productive.
Limited playing time, as you can imagine, for Laird with the 2 guys ahead of him and the way they've been swinging the bats. But he has grounded into 2 double plays in his 11 games this year. This guy's a double play waiting to happen.
Well, we're waiting for one right here. Laird is 6 for 18 over the last 5 games in which he's played with 4 RBIs. That'll win you a lot of games.
Yes, indeed.
Gerald Laird played 63 games on the Tigers World Series team last year, hit .282.
Big favorite of his teammates wherever he's been. He calls himself G Money.
I'm not sure that third string catcher should anoint themselves with any nicknames. Is there a particular reason behind G Money? It just sort of fits him?
I think maybe he got a game-winning RBI at some point in his career and declared himself a money hitter.
That was a singular.
Yes.
All right.
But I mean, he's a real good-natured guy, the kind of guy you like to have in the clubhouse, keeps everything loose, always stays ready for those rare opportunities when he gets a start, and he's getting one here tonight.
High chopper to Chavez at third. Can they roll it? Pennington turns it, and there it is. You said he hits into a lot of double plays, Bob Brenly, and they got one right there. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Coming up in the Diamondbacks second, we'll see former Braves great Martin Prado.
Interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Arizona Diamondbacks regular season home game.
And walk away with a signed Kachinko game piece and a $4 beer. It's another value item here at Chase Field.
One of the more popular value items here at Chase Field.
Most fan-friendly ballpark in America. Eric Chavez, Martin Prado, Miguel Montero. 4, 5, and 6 here. The Diamondbacks second against Julio Teheran. There's a $4 beer. $4. I mean, come on. Go to Yankee Stadium. Costs you $30 to get a beer. Eric Chavez 3 for 8 on the homestand so far. 282, 4 homers, and 13 RBIs. Xavi drives it to center. Reed Johnson won't get there. Cuts it off in the gap. Leadoff single for Chavez here. First Diamondbacks hit. He's really swung the bat well lately.
Most of his playing time coming against right-handed pitching, and for good reason. Over his last 16 games before tonight, a .348 average with 6 doubles and 4 homers against righties.
Martin Prado on base 3 times last night. 2 for 2. Single, a double, and a base on balls. Oh, 0-1. Some interesting comments from Prado following last night's game. He was asked a lot, obviously, about the Justin Upton trade and Upton's return and all that comes with all of that. And keep in mind, this is a guy who has a .291 lifetime hitter. Went into this series batting .223. And he admitted that up until now here in Arizona and all that came with the trade, living up to the expectations, had affected him. Here's the ball. He said, I was trying to make them believe in what I can do, but it wasn't working. I was trying to be someone else. And he also said that now he's just trying to be himself, and whatever happens, happens. He said he's the same guy as he was with the Braves and doesn't want to change anything. The hope is that in this series against Atlanta, that Martin can use it, Bob, as a springboard for a turnaround.
Maybe in a sense a form of closure. Okay, there's the guys I used to play with over on the other side, but this is my team on the third base side now.
And we saw that manifest itself here last night. Prado really pushing it around the bases and being very aggressive.
Something you have to keep an eye on with Teheran out there on the mound. He's got extremely quick feet, has a good pickoff move to first base. That was just kind of a show me toss over there to first. Wasn't really intended to pick off Eric Chavez, just maybe shorten up his lead a little bit, but he's got a really good quick move.
He just turned 22 years old back in January. Julio Teheran from Colombia signed with the Braves as a 17-year-old free agent back in 07. He last pitched on Thursday in the Braves' 6-3 win at San Francisco. Pitched well, gave up 3 runs in 7. And that was after having his turn in the rotation skipped after a rainout. He went 9 days between starts. They give him first base. James Hoy says it hit him.
Tough to see, but you can hear it. Double cathud there, ball hitting elbow pad. And then right into the mid of Gerald Laird. So it's a natural reaction. Protect your rib cage. You see hitters do that all the time on those pitches inside. The first thing they do is slam that front arm down on their rib cage, willing to take it off the back of the arm, maybe the elbow sometimes, but get that ball off your ribs.
So 2 on, no one out here for Miguel Montero. Mickey had the day off here last night. He is 2 for his last 18. And this has been an issue.
Ooh, big time issue. I mean, the good news is they've had lots of opportunities. The bad news is they just haven't cashed very many of them in.
Little chop on the second. Ugla. Simmons, can they turn it? They get Montero. Chavez to third.
Center field, number 11,
Much like the Diamondbacks, the Braves are going to be able to turn a lot of unlikely double plays just because of the throwing arm of Andrelton Simmons out there at shortstop.
He was a great pitcher, threw in the upper 90s as a pitcher, signed as a two-way player. Here's A.J. Pollock. A.J. at 256, 4 home runs and 15 RBIs. 15 RBIs, second among all National League rookies, behind only the Braves' Evan Gattis, who has 20. He's behind here 0-2.
Hopefully A.J. Pollock will do something to change these numbers, but the D-backs over their last 7 games are 4 for 52 with runners in scoring position. Of course, Paul Goldschmidt's in scoring position when he steps in the batter's box.
AJ still leading the National League with 14 doubles. He's one ahead of the Nationals' Ian Desmond. Right back to Tehran. Diamondbacks have first and second, nobody out, and they cannot get a run across. We're through 2, no score.
Want to get the best in the ballpark.
In part by Ram Trucks, proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks, and by Gila River, another proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Right above the RamTrucks.com pool area here at Chase Field. No scores. We start the third inning. Julio Teheran, Andrelton Simmons, and Reed Johnson, 9-1-2 for Atlanta. Patrick Corbin, first major league pitcher since Ubaldo Jimenez with Colorado in 2010 to throw at least 6 innings and allow 2 or fewer runs in his first 7 starts of the season. And he starts off the third with a strikeout. Second of the game for Corbin, 1 down. Nice and cool in here. Warm outside, cool inside. Andrelton Simmons grounded to third his first time up. Hitless in his last 4 games. He is now 0 for his last 16. As Freddie Gonzalez today, if Simmons is really suited for the leadoff spot in the order, and he kind of smiled and said, well, somebody's got to lead off. He was joking around, but he said, yeah, there's not too many really prototypical leadoff guys around anymore anyway. No one's got to play. And while Simmons is sure not an ideal fit for the leadoff spot, Bob, in this lineup of power hitters, for the time being, it's as good a spot as any for him.
Yeah, and the Braves do feel that Simmons is going to evolve and be a really good hitter. He's got some mechanical issues we documented last night. He really lunges toward the pitch as it's coming into the hitting zone. Occasionally will get himself into some real bad positions and off balance.
Good velocity there from Corbin.
But he does have good hand-eye coordination. He runs pretty well. They feel that if they can just get him to consistently stay back on his back foot a little bit more, keep his balance a little bit better, that he can develop into a really solid major league hitter.
Freddie Gonzalez was talking about the matchup of young shortstops from Curacao in this series, Simmons and Didi Gregorius, and he said, I guess we kind of got dueling banjos here. I mean, and he did think there was a little something to the idea that the two young guys from the increasing international baseball hotbed might be thinking about some one-upsmanship in this series. 3-2 now. Simmons, born in Curacao, went to junior college at Western Oklahoma State. Second round pick by the Braves in 2010. Here's Didi. Hard chopper, Chavez backhander, long throw, and he makes it look routine.
Center fielder number 7.
A little bit of a stutter step right there as he read that ball off the bat. Smothered it on the short hop close to that foul line at third base, and then plenty of arm across the diamond. I think Chavez and the rest of the D-backs infielders have realized if you're going to miss your throw with Paul Goldschmidt, doesn't matter whether it's high or low. Some first basemen are much more adept at picking the ball out of the dirt, but they're not real good stretching for high throws. Goldie handles them all over there.
And it's funny because not only, as you mentioned, is he a big target, but he's a superb defensive player.
Very soft hands.
Covers a wide area over there. Reed Johnson doubled his first time up. And there for B.J. Upton. B.J. Upton not in the lineup tonight. Left shoulder contusion after he was hit by Wade Miley with a pitch last night. Johnson got into the game here last night and had an RBI single in his only at bat. Here's B.J. Bossman Jr. with a night off.
Asked his brother Justin how BJ was doing. He said, oh, he'll be all right. He's got a pretty bad bruise on that left shoulder. Said he doesn't have a lot of meat. He is really skinny.
Reed Johnson 2 for 2. He has both of Atlanta's hits here so far against Patrick Corbin. Let's do our AT&T Twitter poll question now. And the question is, if a player is traded from your team, do you still follow them on Twitter? This is an excellent question. So send us either hashtag underscore, Bob, that's an underscore.
Okay.
Either yes follow or no follow to @FoxSportsAZ.
Dave Budavritz with his first opportunity down the left field line. I think I'd let that one roll till it stops.
0-2 now. I think everybody was glad to just have the first game. Just let's get it over with and move on. Forget the result, regardless. All the drama and all the speculation. All right, we're sort of through that now. We can just play ball.
Yeah, that's the way most guys want it. I think that's the way all guys want it. They're slaves to the routine. The hoopla of opening day or postseason baseball, whatever it may be, takes away from their normal, everyday, grinded out routine. And that's what most players are comfortable doing.
Upton walked his first time up. He's behind here, 0-2. Bob, that's another case of Patrick getting ahead in the count and then trying to come in with that slider.
Trying to get a chase, swing and a miss at a pitch out of the strike zone. I mentioned it earlier on. That's, I think, is going to be a key for Patrick today because these guys strike out so much. Patrick jumps ahead in the count so often is his ability to throw pitches out of the strike zone or at least close to the strike zone, give the illusion of a strike and then get that swing and a miss.
Chopper to Chavez at third is foul. That was a classic case of Patrick getting ahead in the count and then trying to bury what's quickly become his favorite put-away pitch. This is what you call the back foot slider.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a strike somewhere over the plate. By the time the batter gets his bat into the hitting zone, the pitch is down near his shin bone, back foot. I mean, Patrick has shown great command of that pitch for a young guy, and especially for a left-hander. Left-handers are a little more erratic usually with their breaking pitches, but Patrick has dropped some on the outside corner for called strikes and then throws that back foot slider to get swings and misses.
2-2. Why are lefties a little more wild with their breaking stuff?
I probably shouldn't generalize like that. I think a lot of it has to do with arm angle. A lot of lefties throw from a much lower slot than a right-handed pitcher of a similar size and build.
Corbin was ahead 0-2, and now he's running full.
Just off the plate inside, but that's a good pitch. Pound that fastball in there off the plate inside. Even if Upton swings at that pitch, he's not going to be able to keep it fair.
Reed Johnson takes off, misses for a ball. Second walk of the game for Upton, and the third issued by Patrick Corbin here. And we've talked about this, Bob, getting guys on ahead of the Freemans and the Gattises and the Uglas. That's how they got in trouble last night.
Yep. You don't feel quite as bad about it with Freddie Freeman, a left-handed hitter, coming to the plate against the lefty Patrick Corbin. Talked about inning management. Pick your battles. There's no question Justin Upton was the hottest hitter in this Braves lineup last night, and Patrick Corbin's pitching him very carefully here tonight, taking his chances with Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Freeman flying out to right his first time up. And once again, Corbin is ahead here, 0-1. He's faced 13 batters, 9 first pitch strikes. Skycam here at Chase Field.
Just another absolutely beautiful night here in downtown Phoenix. This is where you should be.
It is just gorgeous. There's a strike, 0-2. Already having a little conversation with James Hoy back there. He is a big dude. 6'5", 225. Got him. Third strikeout for Patrick Corbin. He strands 2. Will go bottom 3. No score. Fun times at the Ram Trucks Pool. A great place to watch a game. Watch a lot of things over there. Food, fan friendly.
Watch out. It's pool weather again. Temperatures creeping up into the triple digits.
Yeah, the old car said, I think it was at 106 on the drive into the ballpark early this afternoon. You can see that nice sky, though. It's cooling off nicely here. Cliff Pennington, Patrick Corbin, Gerardo Parra, 8-9-1 here. The Diamondbacks third against Julio Teheran.
Patrick Corbin has stranded 4 Braves runners already in this ball game. His left on base percentage 87.4%. That's the 3rd best in the majors this year. Just as a point of reference, major league average is right around 75%. Patrick at 87%.
Ball 1 to Cliff Pennington. Struck out in his only at bat last night. And it's interesting, Bob. Cliff has been kind of struggling to get some swings lately. He's 1 for 7 over his last 5 games, but just 10 plate appearances in those 5 games. I mean, he's the only switch hitter on the roster, but his struggles from the right side of the plate have made him into something of a platoon guy almost. He's hitting .254 versus righties, only .132 against left-hand pitching.
And in the early part of the season, he was getting some playing time at shortstop, but with the emergence of Didi Gregorius as an everyday player, he's splitting time over there at second base with Josh Wilson and Martin Prado, and as you said, tough to get at bats.
He's ahead here, 3-0. Drives it over the head of Simmons, who loses his glove. Base hit for Cliff Pennington. Once again, the leadoff man on here for the Diamondbacks in the 3rd. Hey, the Diamondbacks today hosting more than 1,700 students as part of the Intel International Science and Engineering Fair. That's a program of Society for Science of the Public, the world's largest international pre-college science competition. They're up there in sections 301, 309. As well as the Legend Suite and beer garden areas here, the right field upper concourse at Chase Field. So that's the smart section. So that's why we're as far away as possible.
At their request.
Yes. Keep us away from those idiots. Look at that shot. That's just beautiful.
Well, we've talked about players being must-see TV. Sunsets in the desert are must-see. I'm telling you, that's one of my favorite things about living here.
I learned that really fast. You sort of get out here and you walk out to take out the trash or get the mail or something, and you'll just turn and wow, look at that. Don't have that back in New England because it's always cloudy. Patrick Corbin pulls back and drives it to right. Justin Upton is there. 1 away. Nice swing there by Corbin.
That was a very nice swing right there. Showed bunt. Had the Braves infield charging and then pulled the bat back and took a swing at it. Nearly drove it over the head of Justin Upton in right. Good solid contact. It's been called different things. I always was taught it's the butcher boy. Show bunt, try to draw the infield in, then pull the bat back and take that short, quick swing. That time Corbin almost had himself some extra bases.
Got a great pitch to hit there. Here's Gerardo Parra, tap back to the mound his first time up.
Yeah, there was the quick pickoff move from Teheran. Quick feet.
Steve Sachs keeping a close eye over there with a stopwatch in hand.
Well, before the D-backs bust out and score a bunch of runs here, we're going to alert you that anytime they score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Two 2-0 now. Braves are 6-0 this season with Teheran on the mound. This is a guy who will give up hits, not a guy who misses bats. At least 7 hits allowed in each of his last 4 starts. He's given up 46 hits in 35 1/3 this year. High chopper, Teheran off the mound. Nobody's going to get there. And it rolls into right field. Pennington hustles into third. Look at Gerardo Parra, who stands on second. Gerardo Parra bringing the want here to Chase Field. It just died out there in no man's land, right in the Braves infield.
It was a good old-fashioned, I got it, you take it. Little chopper to the right side. Freeman comes in. Teheran comes over from the mound. They each give way to the other, and then Dan Uggla loses his footing, allowing that ball to roll out into shallow right field. That's heads-up base running.
That's the worst double in the history of Major League Baseball. So a chance here for the D-backs. Second and third, 1 out. Here is Didi Gregorius. And they'll bring Gerardo his falconry kit out there. The oven mitt, the hand warmer.
Sock puppet.
Yep. He should draw a little face on it.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Here's Didi. Flying out to right his first time up. Pennington on third, Parra on second. 1 away here at a scoreless third. And Didi drives it to right. Just enough to gives chase. It's off the wall. Matt Williams will hold everybody up. Ground rule double. Foul ball, they say now.
Well, kind of lose sight of that ball down in the right field corner. Upton was running like crazy. Must have just hooked foul at the very end. Looked good off the bat at Didi Gregorius, but we'll get a look at it here down into that right field corner. Oh, just fouled.
The one wrong spot out there. So allowed strike 1 here to Didi Gregorius.
Well, you see good velocity there from Teheran, 95 miles per hour. Nice, free, easy arm action. They said that has not been the case all year long. Occasionally we'll try to guide that ball up there, and when he does, he loses velocity, loses location.
Base hit. Pennington scores. They wave Parra. Here comes the second run. 2-run single for Didi Gregorius, and the Diamondbacks lead it 2-0.
Swing by Didi Gregorius, stays really tall in that batter's box, comes down and through the pitch as it gets into the hitting zone, and the D-backs jump ahead 2-0.
Didi had been 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position until that 2-run single. And here's Paul Goldschmidt. Whoa, that was a great move. Bob, you said it, quick feet.
Real quick feet. And then the snap throw. Many times a pitcher has to get that same long arm throw that they use on their delivery to home plate, but Teheran just holding that ball right near his right ear, snaps that throw over to first base.
Do you remember any other righties that had really good moves like that?
I think I probably got picked off by a few of them.
Taking too big a lead again, trying to get that running game going.
Yeah.
Big part of your game, I know.
Well, you know, I did have double digits and stolen bases 3 times.
Whoa.
Well, Roger Craig, we used to run like crazy with the Giants, and most of them were broken hit and runs and bad throws.
Did you take that into arbitration, did you?
No, that didn't float at all.
0-1 to Goldie. Paul Goldschmidt making his mark around the league with what so far has certainly been a breakthrough season. And he's become quickly, too, that special type of player that, and we've talked about this, when he's up there, you stand and you watch. You don't move. And look at the numbers here with runners on. 348, 8 home runs. That's where all those RBIs come from, leading the National League.
Well, because he has so little movement in that batter's box, he rarely gets fooled by breaking pitches, rarely swings at bad pitches. You know, a lot of guys, to generate the kind of power that Paul Goldschmidt has, they have a big high front side leg kick, or they have some kind of hitch in their swing. He's very still in that batter's box, hardly picks the front foot up at all, puts it right back down in the same spot, and then drives those hands through the hitting zone.
Struck him out. 2 down here in the third.
Third baseman, Eric Chavez.
Here's Eric Chavez. Singled his first time up. Now hit safely in 14 of his last 17 games. Drives it into center. Didi heads for third. He'll stop there. Eric Chavez 2 for 2.
Seems like the D-backs have had a lot of their best offensive nights when Eric Chavez is the guy hitting behind Paul Goldschmidt in that lineup. Just steady and consistent.
And it's funny because Aaron Hill has not been here. Goldie has worked out in the 3 spot where Aaron was before, but there is a question of, all right, how do we protect Paul Goldschmidt and find a productive bat to put behind him?
Well, there's one right there.
Chavez he looks locked in right now. Just, it's so smooth and free and easy, and they've needed that. Martin Prado hit by a pitch his last time up. One and 0. Buckled him there. It's 1-1.
That's that flat slider from Tehran. He used to throw an overhand curveball. It was a very inconsistent pitch for him when he was throwing it in the strike zone. It was really good. Unfortunately for the Braves, he didn't do it often enough, so they pretty much scrapped that pitch in favor of that flatter, easier to control slider.
Well, Freddie Gonzalez said in spring training that a couple of years ago when he first saw Tehran, everyone was talking about, yeah, you got to see this kid with a big arm. And he saw him come out and just try to light up radar guns with every pitch. And now he says Tehran has matured past that. And he's got 4 quality major league pitches, they say. A couple of years ago, it was really barely 1 because he just couldn't command the fastball. Chopper Ugla at second base. Diamondbacks strand 2, but they get 2 across. Didi Gregorius, a 2-run single, has made it 2-0 Diamondbacks. With James Hoy, the umpiring crew between innings. What's going on?
I'm assuming it's about Julio Teheran's pickoff move to first base, just judging by the body language over there. Gibby trying to explain to home plate umpire James Hoy what he saw from the Diamondbacks dugout. That did look like a balk right there. There's the slightest little hitch with the front leg, and then he spins and throws to first base. That should have been a balk right there, but it happened so quickly. We didn't even see it with the naked eye the first time around. Didn't see it on the replay the second time around. We had to really slow it down to see it, but I think Gibby's got a good complaint right there.
Now the rule is the foot has to come off the rubber and then he can move.
Well, what happens is, and I think back to my playing days, Rick Rhoden was the best in the world at this. There are certain moves a pitcher makes when he goes home. There's moves that he makes when he goes to first base, and what they try to do is make the runner at first think they're going home. So you buckle that front knee just ever so slightly and then step off the rubber with the back foot and throw to first. As a base runner at first, when you see that front knee bend, you assume he's going home. And it has its own name. It's just called a balk move. And some right-handers actually work on that move. But because Teheran is so quick with his feet out there, he can get away with some things that other pitchers cannot.
Corbin ahead on Evan Gattis here, 1-2 to lead off the Atlanta fourth. Diamondbacks lead it 2-0. They've out hit the Braves 5-2.
Take one more look here. You'll see the front leg ever so slightly buckle, and then he steps off the rubber and fires to first base.
Off the bat, that's a foul ball. It was, judging by that replay, it sure does look like he's moving before that foot comes off the rubber.
Yep.
And as we know, the balk move, right? You're not supposed to deceive the runner, any attempt to deceive the runner.
Watch the front leg move first, and then he steps off the rubber and fires that pickoff throw to first base. And that's why a good first base coach can really help your base runners over there. You watch what a guy does when he delivers the ball home. What part of his body moves first when he delivers the ball home? And what part of his body moves first when he comes over to first base?
And as a coach, when you stand over there and see it over and over and over again, eventually you get your triggers. Okay, when you see that left knee buckle, you're okay to break towards second base because he's delivering the ball home. But then, as we clearly saw on that replay, Teheran buckled the front knee, which is usually an indicator it's okay to break for second base, and then still stepped off the rubber and threw to first. He did it very quickly, but that's a balk.
3-2 now. Ball 4. That's the 4th walk issued here by Patrick Corbin.
Against a team with a reputation of being free swingers. This is highly unusual.
Second baseman, Dan Ugla.
So Gaddis is aboard to lead off the 4th. Here's Dan Ugla. Ugla struck out his first time up. Now with 50 strikeouts and 128 at bats on the year. That's staggering. Holy moly. Ooh, James Hoy says that's a strike. 0-2.
Now, we broke out the rule book here, partner, first time this year. 8.05, Section A. It is a balk when the pitcher, while touching the rubber, makes any motion naturally associated with his pitch and fails to make such delivery.
As in moving your front leg forward.
Yeah.
Chavez, can they get the double play here? Pennington, and they roll it. 5-4-3, 2 outs here in the 4th.
Third baseman, Chris Johnson.
Boy, just so many good things about that play. Looked very routine, but Chavez, knowing he didn't have a lot of time on that high hopper to waste, throws on the move. Normally he would plant his feet before throwing to second base, but he knew he didn't have that much time.
Chris Johnson walked his first time up. Cliff Pennington broke the wrong way and still makes the play. How about that, Cliff Pennington? First one way and then the other. More Diamondback defense ends the 4th.
Cool play of the game, and what do you know, it happens on defense. Cliff Pennington helping Patrick Corbin out of a jam. And really, that's been the case all season long. The D-backs leading Major League Baseball in fielding percentage, and it really has given this starting rotation a great deal of confidence that they can pitch and get ground balls, and this defense seems to cover every part of the field. We've seen them put shifts on against the Phillies. We've seen them do it right there with the double play, and Corbin once again out of the jam. Our cool play of the game. You know, defense is cool. I mean, you know, they used to say chicks like the long ball, but hey, defense is pretty cool as well.
Sure is, Brad. Cliff Pennington broke one way and ended up going the other way, and we're seeing Bob in the dugout. They're still having a conversation about Julio Teheran's move.
Didi knows what he saw over there at first base. Gibby knows what he saw from the bench. And as we mentioned, we watched it full speed. It was very tough to tell. We had to slow it down to really determine that it was indeed a balk move over there to first base. Pitchers will get away with whatever they think they can get away with out there on the mound.
Where's Bob Davidson when you need him?
Oh, man.
Miguel Montero leads off the fourth. Montero, Pollock, Pennington. 6, 7, and 8 here. Diamondbacks lead it 2-0. Didi Gregorius, a 2-run single back in the third. Miggy grounded into a double play his first time up. He is 2 for his last 19.
That used to be one of Teheran's signature pitches. I talked about it earlier, that overhand curveball in the high 60s, low 70s. Just hasn't had the same kind of command of that pitch as he did throughout his minor league career.
Bob, this was interesting looking back at the Cliff Pennington play. We haven't seen a lot of this. A guy, I'm not going to say it was a routine play, but he broke one way and then ended up going the other way.
Well, sometimes when the ball's hitting out near the end of the bat, it imparts a lot of side English, side spin on that baseball. Looked like Cliff read it off the bat, thought it was going to be to his right, and then the ball ended up going back to his left. Great recovery to get there in time to make the diving stop. And when I initially saw that play, I thought it might have hit off the side of the mound, because obviously that can change the angle on a ground ball headed up the middle of the field if it happens to hit the side of the mound. But I think it was just a lot of side spin on that ball off the bat of Chris Johnson.
Watch him break one way and then go the other. Whoop. Boy, he's played superb defense all season long. Just outstanding. Miggy drives it to left. Gaddis on the run. And tracks it down in front of the bullpen. And Bob, you have said it a couple of times. That's what you would prefer that Miguel do. Just take it the other way, right?
I think mechanically he's always in a better place when he's driving the ball to the opposite field. He's letting it get deep into the hitting zone. The front shoulder's not flying open. And once again, unfortunately, though, many times he has hit the ball hard to left field. It's been caught.
Look, he's still laughing about it again. Some hard outs. That's what Paul Goldschmidt is saying. You've had some hard outs. A.J. Pollock. Look out, Brenly. That was your closest one yet, I think. And he didn't even flinch.
Nah, not even close.
The grizzled veteran. A.J. Pollock over Simmons' head. Base hit for A.J. He always looks to take that extra base. It's always head up. That big turn at first base. He is locked onto that baseball, and if he sees even a little glimmer, he's going for two.
I like that about a lot of the Diamondbacks hitters slash base runners. Don't assume anything. Run hard down that first baseline. Take a big aggressive turn at the bag. If the ball's bobbled or mishandled in any way, at least you give yourself a chance to advance 90 feet. And jog down that first baseline, figuring up your batting average on the way down there. You have no chance to make it to second should they drop the ball.
Cliff Pennington singled and scored his first time up. And A.J. admits with all those doubles, he's always thinking two out of the box. And you can tell by the way he runs up that first base line, always the head up, looking for that little sliver of an opening. Especially one like that that's sort of in the gap right there. It all depends on how quickly the outfielder can cut it off. One and one now. In fact, AJ has mentioned it because he knows how hard it is to play the outfield. He's got a pretty good idea of what it takes to keep an opposing runner to a single if you have to run hard to cut the ball off and then come to a stop, set, turn, make the throw. There's that move. Let's look for the reaction now. They are in the Diamondbacks dugout, raising their arms over their heads, and they're having a discussion at third base with Jim Reynolds, who's hearing it from the Arizona dugout right now about the move. Or else they're looking across to John Hirschbeck, the crew chief. James Hoy, the plate umpire.
This might be a pitch out. Yeah. That's pretty much the universal sign, just a fist. Normally you hang down a finger, 2 fingers, 3 fingers, whatever it may happen to be, but that time Gerald Laird just put the fist down.
A.J. Pollock, 5 stolen bases this year. He's been caught twice.
Another thing to keep an eye on, watch Gerald Laird on his throws back to the mound. He's got a little hitch in his giddy up there. The Phillies stole a couple of bases on throws back to the pitcher.
2-2. When he's throwing it back to the pitcher?
Yeah. Chase Utley and Jimmy Rollins anticipated that little lob throw back to the mound and were able to steal bases when the Phillies and the Braves played. It's not quite the yips.
There goes Pollock. Pennington fouls it off.
Yeah, I venture to guess that it doesn't bother him when he's throwing to second base because that's instinctive. You just catch the ball, come out of the chute, and throw to second base or third base, wherever you happen to be throwing the ball. But when you have a little more time to think about that toss back to the mound, that's when you can see guys develop some yips.
Well, the guy who really had a bad case of that when he was in Texas was Jared Saltalamacchia. It got really bad there for a while. In fact, they didn't know if he was going to be able to continue to catch. High in the air. Who wants it? Ugler.
Well, there was a young catcher in the Atlanta Braves organization one time that had some problems throwing the ball back to the pitcher. They decided to turn him into a center fielder. Dale Murphy.
How'd that work out?
Pretty good.
Where are you, by the way, on Dale Murphy as a Hall of Famer?
Well, I played against Dale Murphy my whole career, and he put up numbers against the Giants that should put him in the Hall of Fame all by themselves. You're just a magnificent player. Could beat you in so many different ways.
Here's Patrick Corbin. Corbin lined out deep to right field his first time up. 6 hits for the Diamondbacks, 2 for the Braves. Corbin goes to left this time. Here's Gaddis on the run. Can't get it in foul ground.
We're going to take a look here, partner, at Teheran out there on the mound. We're going to show you a couple of different looks. The one on the left is a delivery to home plate. First thing to move was that front leg. The left knee buckled, and then he delivered the ball to home plate. On the right is what we feel is a Bach move. The left knee will buckle, which is his delivery to home plate, and then he spins and throws to first. I don't know whether he's doing that intentionally or it's subconscious, but it's a Bach.
1-2 now. Well, that's certainly the case that Kirk Gibson's been making throughout the game here, both from the dugout and on the field between innings. And a lot of discussion about that in the dugout. 1-2 now.
Normally on a pickoff move to first base by a right-handed pitcher, and this is very general because some guys are a little bit different, but generally the first thing to move on a pickoff throw is the right heel. In an effort to get that foot up off the rubber and turn and throw to first base, the first thing that moves on a pickoff is normally the right heel. Anytime you see that left leg move first, it should be a delivery to home plate.
Patrick Corbin's having himself an at-bat right here. Three and two now. It's a tremendous at bat for Patrick Corbin. Teheran up to 65 pitches, 44 for strikes. Gerardo Parra's on deck. Pollock takes off, and Corbin drives it to center. Reed Johnson camps out underneath, coming in, and he makes the catch. That's the inning. Diamondbacks strand one. We're through four. They lead it 2-0.
Runs are part of the game. Their team hits a lot of home runs. I mean, that's what they're known for. Got a lot of guys swinging the bat hard over there. A lot of big guys, big strong guys that hit the ball far. And if you make some mistakes like we did last night, they're going to make you pay. And hopefully, we can minimize that tonight and Pat can make some good pitches and get some outs.
D-backs pitching coach Charles Nagy with our Geico quote of the game. And you talk about that Braves offense, #1 in Major League Baseball in home runs, #2 in strikeouts. And so really Patrick Corbin, the young left-hander, kind of a kryptonite for the Braves. He's a guy that has struck out 39 actually this season, given up only 2 home runs. And you see the numbers on the Braves. They either belt it out of the park or they go down swinging. So far, so good for Patrick Corbin. 4 walks, but keeping his club right in this game. Guys, back to you.
Absolutely, Brad. 36 coming in, now up to 39. He has 3 strikeouts and 4 walks so far. Has been helped out by a couple of double play balls. And he'll face Gerald Laird, Julio Teheran, and Andrelton Simmons, 8, 9, and 1 here to open the 5th. Diamondbacks lead at 2-0. They've out-hit Atlanta 6-2. Gerald Laird hit into one of those double plays his last time up. Patrick Corbin, first Diamondbacks pitcher to begin a season 5-0 since Brandon Webb started 9-0 back in 2008. Yes, he did, says James Hoy. 1-1. Patrick was funny after his last outing when he beat the Phillies 2-1 here. That was back on Thursday. He said even he didn't know his start to the season would be this good. 2-1 now. He said, I just want to continue it. There's a lot of starts left. And that's something that Kirk Gibson really enjoys about Patrick Corbin. Gibby says Patrick is highly competitive, not intimidated by any situation. Eric Chavez has a busy night over there. He'll let Didi Gregorius handle it, and they got him. More Didi defense. And Bob, we've seen that a number of times. Didi will often leak well behind the third baseman over there, and now they're starting to let him take it.
Well, we know he has a strong throwing arm, but what amazes me is the accuracy. He's running toward the third base foul line, throws back against his own body, and puts it right on the money to Paul Goldschmidt almost every time. Freddie Gonzalez not so sure about that out at first base. Man, what a great play.
A little discussion with John Hirschbeck over here. Here's another look.
Well, we've had a number of really close plays. And once again, Gerald Laird, much like Justin Upton last night, hit the bag with his heel. If he comes down with his toe on that front edge of the base, he might get himself an infield hit.
And we've had a few plays like that where Didi has almost collided or has collided with the third baseman because he's got so much range over there. He often creeps over directly behind the third baseman, whether it's Prado or Chavez. And they have knocked gloves once or twice over there. 1-2 now to Julio Teheran. Struck out his first time up. Well, there's one D in defense, but there's two in Didi.
Nice.
And we've seen it all year. He is must-see TV. Struck him out. 4 strikeouts for Patrick Corbin. 2 down here in the 5th. Didi is gorgeous. Hitter also. Gorgeous. All right.
I'll buy that, I guess.
We applaud the effort.
Yeah, there you go. We appreciate the effort.
Gold star. Andrelton Simmons has twice grounded out to third. First pitch swinging straight up in the air. Miguel Montero, Paul Goldschmidt, Goldie. Simmons 0 for 3. Patrick Corbin 5 scoreless innings so far. CenturyLink your link to what's next. We've just seen Didi's defense. He's driven in the only 2 runs of the game so far. He's coming up in the next inning. 2-0. The Fox Sports Arizona Fan Express, brought to you by Cox Communications and Fry's Food Stores, is back. And it's ready to take you to a D-backs game. You can stop by this month's participating Sierra Vista Cox retail store, and you can enter to win 2 seats on the Fan Express bus. Gus, you'll receive round-trip transport to the D-backs game. That's on June 9th. Registration this time ends May 27th, so don't wait. For more information, visit foxsportsarizona.com. You get on that great-looking Sedona red Diamondback bus. Goldie on the side. Goldie's on the side of the bus.
Goldie driving the bus.
He sure is.
Like that.
One more look. Didi Gregorius here, and we're told this is Jeter-esque on the follow-through. Sort of the back pedal and across the body throw.
Wow.
And there's more. Okay, now I got that over there. He covers so much ground over there, A.J. Pollock.
Chavez saying, how many Gold Gloves do you have?
That's right. Well, he's on his way, I can tell you that.
Yes, he is.
Gerardo Parra, Didi Gregorius, and Paul Goldschmidt. Here in the bottom of the 5th, Diamondbacks lead at 2-0 on a Didi Gregorius 2-run single. Trying to snap this 3-game slide after a 5-game win streak. Parra doubled and scored his last time up. 1-1. Gerardo Parra has now hit safely in 8 of his last 9 games. He's having a big year offensively, too. He hit .305 in April. He's hitting .333 in May. Let's check the dirt. I always like to go, you can tell what the score is by how dirty Parra is. So let's can we pan up and down, Mitch, and get a sense of where we are in the ball game? Now this kind of looks like middle of the game. Yeah, close game. There's not a whole lot of dirt.
I have a feeling that's about to change.
He can bring the want. All right. Night out at the game with the boys. .70 pitches now for Tehran, 47 for strikes. Got a lot of full counts.
Tehran has a high of 97 pitches, and that was actually in a 6-inning outing against the Nationals earlier this year. Pitch count's still in pretty good shape right now, only 71.
Three and 2 now to Parra. Struck him out. Just the second strikeout for Julio Tehran. 1 down here in the 5th, and here comes Didi. He's gorgeous. That thing looks like a comma, doesn't it? The little rip.
Yeah.
He's a gorgeous hitter, comma, also. Didi has flied out to right, 2-run single back in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. See if he can crank one out to the science guys out there. Right field.
Get out their slide rules, and figure the trajectory, terminal velocity.
Tell you what, those guys will all be GMs in about 5 years.
Yeah, you got that right.
Students with aspiring goals. Swag. A lot of swag here at Chase today.
Everybody loves swag.
Who doesn't? One and 1 now. Didi hitting .444 in 14 games against right-hand pitchers this year. He's wearing out righties. That got him.
Hit him somewhere near the foot. The instep near the ball of the foot there.
James Hoy halts the game for a bit, give Didi a chance to walk it off and get back in there. 1-2 now. Lifts it in the air to right. Here comes Justin Upton. 2 down here in the 5th. Justin Upton's playing right field for only the 4th time this year. This is just his 4th start in right. He's made 33 starts in left, but they've had some injuries trying to work Gaddis's bat in there, so they're shifting some things around.
Yeah, Braves are going to have some roster issues when Jason Hayward comes back off the disabled list. As you said, Justin Upton probably moves back over to left field to make room for Hayward in right. B.J. Upton will be their everyday center fielder.
You got to find it. We just saw Gaddis. You got to find a way to keep him around. So going to get tricky.
Yeah, Gaddis, a catcher by trade. I was talking to him around the batting cage, and I asked him, "Are you feel comfortable? Do you feel like an outfielder?" He said, "Oh no." He says, "I'm not comfortable out there at all." He says, "I work hard at it every day, and I think I'm getting better." But he says, "I'm much more comfortable behind the plate."
Goldie high in the air to right. Justin Upton backing up, looking up at the wall, and he's going to stay in the yard. Goldie goes the other way, not quite deep enough. Toss of the helmet up in the air in frustration. It's a 1-2-3 5th, 2-0 Diamondbacks. Action behind Gerardo Parra in right. Diamondbacks lead at 2-0. They've out-hit the Braves 6-2. And our APS Energy All-Star, once again, Patrick Corbin, 5 innings of 2-hit ball.
Uncharacteristic with the 4 walks, but he's had a couple of double plays to erase 2 of those walks. The other 2, no damage done. Another outstanding performance by Patrick Corbin.
Well, here comes trouble. He's given up only 2 hits so far, both by Reed Johnson. Johnson, Upton, and Freeman here in the 6th. Now look at this.
Yeah, you don't normally expect your 4 and 5 starters to anchor the rotation, but that's been the case this year with Corbin and Miley. The team 11-4 when those 2 guys start.
But I think that is shifting, and we've seen Trevor Cahill be much better. Brandon McCarthy was outstanding in his last start, so there is certainly room for optimism that the top of the rotation can add to that. Corbin behind here, 3-0. 4-pitch walk to Reed Johnson. He's on base 3 times now. And that's the 5th walk issued by Patrick Corbin.
Right fielder, Justin Upton.
Back with you tomorrow. We got a day game here at Chase Field. We'll pitch up at noon. First pitch 12:40, then it's off to Miami, where Bob Brenly will be avoiding the Clevelander at all costs.
I think I might find a pond somewhere. I heard they have a few lakes down there in Florida.
Right field. There's Gerardo Parra. Look, he just wants you to try to run on him. He's hoping that you'll try to run on him.
First baseman Freddie Freeman.
What about Marlin? I thought you'd be one of these guys, one of those offshore deals. Big fighting Marlin. Get out there.
No.
No, why not?
I went deep sea fishing a couple times when I lived in San Francisco, and one time we were 17 miles off the coast when I got seasick. Now they can't pull over and drop you off.
Yeah, you're stuck.
Yeah. So,
Gilligan.
Oh man.
Freeman, Goldschmidt steps on the bag, and there's the double play. More Goldie defense. You've heard of Gold Gloves? How about Goldie Gloves? We'll go bottom 6.
Brought to you in part by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Mazda, we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by Jack in the Box, the Chipotle Chicken Club Combo is back for a limited time at Jack in the Box. Try one today with fries and a drink for just $4.99 plus tax.
Eric Chavez leading off the bottom of the 6th inning for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He has now hit safely in 12 out of his last 13 games, a couple singles already. He says he knows he's going to get some reps and certainly making the most of his opportunity anytime they face a right-hander. Chavez is the guy that Kirk Gibson is going to go to, guy that has 6 Gold Gloves, a Silver Slugger Award, really a great veteran addition to this club. And so far, so good, guys. He knows his reps when they come. He's certainly making the most of them so far.
Brad, it's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how to keep him going under. Chavez, Prado, Montero. I like Chavez's walk-up music. Sorry. He's 2 for 2 so far. And rolling along. You know, he had 281 last year with the Yankees, 16 home runs in 113 games. And everyone went, wow, what a great year for Eric Chavez. He's 34 years old. He's now 35. And I thought, well, what a great bounce back year. It's nice, but he may, BB, at this rate, eclipse that.
He's got a lot of gas left in the tank, and I've mentioned it many times already this year. I'm really surprised with his opposite field power. I always knew he could pull the ball, which is why he was a valuable member of that Yankees team with the short porch in right, but he's got good pop to the opposite field.
He's hit a few balls that we thought would get down in the gaps to left center, and they just carried out of here in some different ballparks. Hit one in San Francisco that snuck out on us. Skies that one to center. Reed Johnson camped out. They retire Chavez for the first time tonight, one away. Hey, Fox Sports is proud to partner with Johns Hopkins Medicine, one of this year's Fox Sports supports charities. Johns Hopkins is at the forefront of groundbreaking research into autoimmune disorders like multiple sclerosis and lupus. So please join us in the fight against autoimmune diseases. Donate now. You can visit hopkinsmedicine.org/Fox. Martin Prado has been hit by a pitch and grounded out. Martin Prado says that while some folks are worried about his hitting, he is not. He says, "I'm not panicking. I know what I can do." Says he doesn't feel like he's struggling. He's seeing the ball well, and he's not trying to do too much with his swing. He says it's a long season. Results are going to be there. Just take some time. Teheran up to 85 pitches, 57 for strikes here. Martin Prado, base hit. 7 hits now for the Diamondbacks against Julio Teheran.
Good to see from Martin Prado. Good solid contact, producing a line drive back up the middle of the field. Sometimes that's all it takes. One line drive, one ball off the barrel of the bat to get you jump started. Hopefully that'll be the case.
And the same goes for Miguel Montero, who steps in here now. He is 0 for 2. He's hit into a double play and flying out to left. Did a nice job on his last one of just sort of flaring it the other way. Down the line and left, and Evan Gattis made a nice running catch on it in front of the Diamondbacks bullpen. He's still fighting it. Talked to him walking around today, batting practice. It's like he's trying to come out of his skin. He walks around, and this is really true. I think this is the way it's manifested itself. He walks around clenched. Like he's if he doesn't snap out of this, he's going to just bust. Jim Reynolds says yes, that's a strike.
These are the kind of things that happen when you are struggling. Every check swing goes against you. Every borderline pitch is called in favor of the pitcher. Stare down to the third base umpire, but Miggy clearly went on that, couldn't check his swing in time.
One and two now. Look back to last year, Miggy hit 257 in the first month. Hit 247 in May, and he felt frustrated then, but he really turned it on. 329 in June, 300 in July, 329 in September. Takes it the other way there. That's out of play.
Just get a meatball right in the middle of the zone here and punish it. Take out all that anger, all that frustration, all those line drives he's been hitting at people.
He had one of those the other night that went off the foul pole. That was nice. He got to stand there and watch it for a bit because he was either going to be a home run or foul. So we got time to watch and admire what turned out to be his third home run of the year. This is Friday against the Phillies.
A hooking line drive, as you said, it's either a home run or a foul ball right down that first baseline. Clanged it off the foul pole.
But he's in a 2 for 20 right now. You can sense him up there just trying to will himself out of this.
If there was an easy way out of a slump, there would never be slumps.
Exactly.
Got to work hard, and he has been. A lot of extra BP, a lot of extra time in the video room. Not only looking at this year's at bats, but at bats in years past when he was swinging the bat well, trying to see if there's a difference.
Takes it down the line again. Foul. Is that a good place for him to start, Bob? Like, at some point, do you go back to square one and he gets ready for the 9th pitch of the AB here and just say, okay, what can I, give me one thing to start with, and we'll go from there?
Absolutely. Sometimes you get to that point where you need to break it all the way down to the beginning and start all over again.
Listen to right. Foul ball. He has done everything you can do.
Yep.
Without getting a hit. He's hit it 2 people. He's hit him just foul. To the right, to the left. He's hit him in gaps that have been caught. He's hit line drives right to infielders.
Body lingo out there on the mound. Miggy had some body language of his own. Will Nieves on the bench rooting for Miggy. Everybody's rooting for Miggy in that third base dugout.
Pitch number 10 of the AB on the way. Left field. Gaddis in front of the wall. Toronto halfway to second. He's back to the bag. 2 down now. That was like a documentary of a guy trying to get out of a slump.
Good at bat, however, even though it ended with an out, fouled off a lot of borderline pitches, had some good swings and pitches in the middle of the zone, ultimately hitting that deep fly to left field for the out.
Braves bullpen is busy. Julio Teheran pitched most of last season at AAA Gwinnett. Made 26 starts, 7-9. The ERA was over 5. He threw 131 innings and gave up 146 hits. And like we told you, this is not a guy that misses bats. He only had 97 strikeouts this year. But it's a case of scouts and evaluators loving the stuff at this point and figuring that at some point very soon here that's going to translate at this level. But it's, as we've seen here, Bob, been somewhat hit and miss this year.
Yeah, that's all part of the process in trying to gauge young pitchers. The first thing you look at is their arm, their stuff. See how that projects into the future when they get a little bigger, a little stronger, hopefully a little smarter, a little more experienced.
Now that's outstanding work.
That is a great sign.
A.J. Pollock. 1 for 2, single his last time up.
With that last delivery right there by Teheran, he's now reached a career, or not a career high, he tied his season high with his 97 pitches. Which is why we see some activity in that Braves bullpen.
66 for strikes. Freeman is holding Prado on at the bag at first, and there's a whole ton of room between Freeman and Dan Uglo over there on the right-hand side. If he could just get it in that hole there, Prado's almost assured of going to third. One and two.
Well, it turns out, partner, I was right. I was just one pitch off. 98 pitches is a career high for Teheran. Now he's at 99.
He's ahead here, 1 and 2. There goes Prado, swing and a miss. And Pollock strikes out. That ends the inning. Third strikeout for Julio Teheran. We're through 6. Diamondbacks lead at 2-0. Ram trucks, and Bob, this has become routine. We've been spoiled by the way this ball club plays defense all year long. This is all just tonight. Look at the spectacular defense.
Not unusual to see a player or two on a team that flashes the leather like we see on a nightly basis, but it's everybody on this Diamondbacks team that's making great defensive plays.
Our tools of the trade brought to you by Ram Trucks. Diamondbacks lead at 2-0. They've out-hit the Braves 7-2, and Patrick Corbin back out there and doing well. 82 pitches, 49 for strikes. They'll face Evan Gattis, Dan Ugla, and Chris Johnson. That's 5, 6, and 7 here in the Braves 7th. Gattis is 0 for 1. He walked his last time up. Hard to Gregorius, and there's more defense. One pitch, one out.
Second baseman.
The Braves are well aware that Patrick Corbin's been pounding that first strike in there. They've come out swinging aggressively in the last couple of innings. One pitch, one out. Gotta love that.
He has got 3 outs on 3 pitches now, going back to the last inning. Here's Dan Ugly. Yeah, struck out and hit into a double play, 0 for 2. Big key for Patrick Corbin, which has helped him pitch consistently well, really from the first day of spring training this year. May have been the 107 innings he threw in the majors last year when he appeared in 22 games. He made 17 starts, and he said, you know, last year I learned I could pitch in this league, and now I'm taking it to this league. So he had, if not the luxury, then maybe the freedom or the peace of mind to know that going into camp this spring, if he could approach this season right from the start with that mindset. I know I can do this because I've already shown it.
keep coming back to that one word, his poise. He just looks beyond his years out there on the mound. Never gets rattled, whether there's runners on base or not. Stuff stays crisp from the beginning of the game until he comes out of the ball game.
And he rings up Dan Uggla. Ring him up, sit him down. 5 strikeouts for Patrick Corbin. Thursday, the AIA Baseball and Softball Championships, presented by Farmers Insurance, will be televised right here on Fox Sports Arizona. Coverage begins at 3 o'clock. For division matchups, you can check out foxsportsarizona.com. Chris Johnson now. Patrick Corbin said one thing he's learned in his brief major league career is this: if you can locate your heater, everything else is better. And we've watched him, Bob, all season long get ahead of hitters with fastballs early in the count, right out of the gate, and he's done it again tonight. He's behind here 2-0, granted. 3-0 now. Oh, I hear the phone. Chris Johnson grounded out his last time up. He also walked back in the second. Here's the strike. 3-1.
A little uncharacteristic for Patrick, however, tonight that this at bat is 8 3-ball count in the game.
Base hit. Just the 3rd hit for the Braves, and the first by someone other than Reed Johnson. That time it's Chris Johnson.
Catcher Gerald Laird.
94 pitches now for Patrick, 55 for strikes. Bullpen is busy. Miguel Montero will go out there and now slow the pace of the game just a bit so the bullpen can get busy. There are 2 arms up there, in fact. Matt Reynolds has joined Brad Ziegler.
Well, one thing you have to keep in mind, if you're thinking about bringing in a righty to face Gerald Laird in this situation, you'll probably see Brian McCann jump out of that first base dugout. I think I'd rather have Patrick Corbin on Gerald Laird. Charles Nagy, the man making the trip to the mound, which indicates Corbin probably will stay in this one.
Brian McCann in the dugout. It's interesting. Last year, among players who played with at least 50 at-bats, Gerald Laird, of all people, led the major leagues with a .382 batting average against right-hand pitchers. Last year, he was 29 for 76 against righties last year.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, at least 50 at-bats. He hit righties better than anyone in baseball. Who knew?
G-Money.
Bobby Freeman going a little kind of piano jazz kind of a thing there for that mound interlude.
Or as we like to call him, the Billy Preston of the National League West.
So 2 outs now. Johnson on first, and here is G-Money. He is 0 for 2, grounded into a double play and grounded out his last time up. This is Gerald Laird's 11th season in the big leagues. Rangers, Tigers, Cardinals, Tigers again last year, and now the Braves. There's the strike, 0-2. Ramiro Pena's in the on-deck circle, so that will be the end of Tehran's night, at least if Gerald Laird reaches here. Chris Johnson takes off for second, and Montero throws him into right center. Johnson will have to stay there, though. So something of a break there for the Diamondbacks, because Johnson, had he been on his feet, might have easily had third.
Block and recover behind the plate. Unfortunately, after the block, that ball got far enough away from Miguel Montero that Johnson decided to make a break for second base. He'd throw airmailed out into right center, but because Johnson slid into second on his belly, he didn't see where the ball was. Nice deep down there by Martin Prado. Acting like the throw was coming in, or rather Cliff Pennington. acting like the throw was coming to second and he was going to apply the tag. So Chris Johnson just tried to get there as quickly as he could. Didn't realize the ball was out in right center field.
Chopper to Gregorius and short. Paul Goldschmidt, the backhand scoop, picks it up, and that's the inning. Corbin strands the runner. Will go bottom 7. 2-0. It's 2-0 as they get set to bat in the bottom of the 7th. Joe Borowski joins us up here in the broadcast booth now. And Joe, once again, Patrick Corbin, 7 innings of 3-hit ball.
Just impressive. And he didn't have his best control tonight.
Yeah.
A couple of those pitches were pretty close, but he did a great job of navigating through any type of danger he may have had in an inning. And he didn't put himself in situations where he really had to labor too much. I thought he did a fantastic job of using Atlanta Braves' aggressiveness against them.
How do you do that?
Well, the one thing is you mix up how you're starting. You don't get into patterns. You're constantly changing throughout the game. He was still aggressive with his first pitch strikes. He did a fantastic job with that tonight. But it wasn't just to get me over first pitch strikes. It was quality first pitch strikes to corners of the plate, and he mixed in breaking balls as well. I thought he did a good job, and he had a great plan of attack against a super aggressive team.
New pitcher for the Braves, the left-hander Luis Avalon. He'll face Cliff Pennington. Cody Ross will hit for the pitcher, so that'll be it for Corbin. Pennington grounds out on the first pitch, 1 away, and here comes Cody to hit for Patrick Corbin. Cody was 2 for 4 here last night against the Braves with a single and a double.
Yeah, Joe, we were talking earlier in the ball game. It appeared that Kirk Gibson was talking to home plate umpire James Hoy about the balk move that Tehran was featuring out there on the mound. What was your feeling about that?
My interpretation of what it is, you have to show direction with your lead foot, and I thought he did the jump spin, so he replaced his back foot with his front foot, but it's almost like the umpire draws a circle around that back foot, and you have to get out of it with your front foot when you spin. And he did the old jump spin. And
is that allowed?
It's supposed to be a balk. You're supposed to have some type of direction towards first base with that lead foot.
Let's take another look at this.
Yeah, we showed this earlier. The one on the left is a delivery to home plate. He buckles the left knee, delivers the ball home. On the one on the right, he buckles his left knee and then breaks contact with the rubber and spins around to first base.
Yeah, that's so close.
And we said it.
My bigger thing is he's just spinning. He's not getting any direction. I would argue that as well as that being close with buckling that front knee. That's the old forced balk right there.
And he's so quick with his feet. We didn't even see it with the naked eye. We had to slow it down a little bit more. But Kirk Gibson and the guys in that third base dugout noticed it.
Steve Sachs was watching it all night long. He and Kirk Gibson, we saw, had some lengthy discussions in the dugout about what to do. Joe, when a guy has a move that's as good as that is, whether it's legal or not is another issue. But when he's got a really good move like that, does that slow down the running game? Because we've seen the Diamondbacks all year long be very aggressive on the bases.
Absolutely, because you're looking for, as soon as you see that front foot, as soon as you see that heel lift off the ground, that's when you're getting your jump. But if he's doing that and it's so close like that, you have to actually wait until that foot's almost coming off the ground. So that split second is all the catcher needs in order to get you out.
Little chopper. Avalon is there. 2 up, 2 down here in the 7th. Gerardo Parra. He's 1 for 3, doubled and scored back in the 3rd.
Well, Joe, I'm sure there were times during your career where you faced a lineup that had a team like this Braves ball club. A lot of guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark and a lot of swings and misses.
And to tell you the truth, Bob, I would rather face guys like that than face guys who were contact hitters who fouled off your good pitches and were just waiting for you to make a mistake. Because the guys who are aggressive and have those big swings, you can actually use that against them. If you can pitch backwards, you can go breaking ball early, finish with fastballs late. I think there's a lot more ways to attack guys who are that aggressive and take the big swings than the guys who shorten their swings and just looking to put the barrel of the bat on the ball.
The pesky guys.
Absolutely. They drove me nuts.
Like this guy.
Yeah, perfect example.
Well, the Braves appear more than willing to live with the strikeouts.
Yeah.
For the occasional home run ball.
And I know the Phillies have been better lately, but I really see that as a 2-team division between Atlanta and Washington anyway. So, and the Nationals have shown that they're not going to win. I thought they'd win 105 games, but they might not. So it's going to be a little closer than we thought. So they may be able to get away with that in that division.
Yeah, definitely.
A little chopper from Parra. That's a foul ball.
Boy, did you happen to see the Bryce Harper play last night?
That was, I've never
wow.
seen that on a baseball field. Have you? No, I mean it.
Oh,
he
yeah.
wasn't even looking at the ball. Just straight into the wall, full speed.
I've seen it happen a few times where guys kind of lose track of where they are on the field and don't realize how close they're getting to the barrier. But man, he went face first into that fence in right field.
Other than Rodney Scott, I think it was Rodney Scott. Who was the guy that ran through the wall?
I think you're right.
Yeah, I've never seen a guy hit an outfield wall with that kind of force.
I think he was so disappointed. He must have been so disappointed he misplayed that he just gave up and didn't realize he was still on the track.
Freddie Freeman down at first. Avalon is covering, and that's a 1-2-3-7. Joe, thanks. See you in the postgame show.
All right, guys.
summer, look no further than right here at Chase Field. For every game, you can get a lower level bleacher ticket, a hot dog, a Pepsi, and a free Subway cookie. All for $21. It's called the Value Pack, and it's available anytime at dbacks.com/value. We've got value concessions, too. You can get a hot dog, a corn dog, or a Pepsi for only $1.50. We even have 14-ounce beers for just $4. Value items available for every game here, so be here with us at Chase Field. Next homestand starts Friday, May 24th against the Padres, and you can take advantage of the value that Chase Field has to offer. So learn more. Buy tickets at dbacks.com/value, and we'll see you out here at Chase Field for the next homestand.
Yeah, not only tickets and hot dogs and Pepsis and cookies, the team shop has a lot of value items as well. You can get a D-backs t-shirt for less than $10, a D-backs cap for $5. Yeah, beat that. Souvenir bat for $6. Bring the kids on out to the ballpark.
New pitcher for the Diamondbacks here is David Hernandez. He'll face a pinch hitter here for the Braves. Jordan Schaefer steps in now. Schaefer, Simmons, and Johnson here in the 8th. David Hernandez picked up his first save of the season when he closed out Friday night's game against the Phillies. Schaefer steps in at .286, a homer and 3 RBIs.
A team that doesn't have a lot of speed, this is one guy you definitely want to keep off base, showing bunt right there. 6 stolen bases on the year. Schaefer runs really well.
1-1 now. Hernandez had a clean inning in his previous outing against the Phillies after closing out Friday night's game. Thursday in the series opener, he worked a 1-2-3/8, including a big strikeout of Michael Young. Here's the 1-2. In fact, Hernandez has worked scoreless ball in his last 4 outings. He's given up only 2 hits over that span, 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. Struck him out. Good start to the 8th for David Hernandez. Take a look at our Chevron upcoming matchup. We're back here, BB, tomorrow. Quick turnaround, and then it's off to Miami. And we'll be back here for a 12:40 start. How about this? Tim Hudson and Ian Kennedy.
Boy, one of those on-paper matchups that you paid money to see. Ian Kennedy not off to a great start this season. Tim Hudson, very quietly one of the best pitchers in baseball over the course of his career.
Ian trying to get back on track. Saw Daniel Hudson right there as Andrelton Simmons steps up there. Huddy threw a bullpen today, continuing his comeback from Tommy John. There's Daniel Hudson with Ian. He was on the mound in the Diamondbacks bullpen. Kurt Gibson was out there in a chair watching. Charles Nagy right behind. Aaron Hill was standing in there as a live batter, not swinging, but just so there's a body in there for Huddy to throw to. And he continues to make very encouraging progress, and it looks like he might even be back before the All-Star break.
Well, that'd be a nice addition. Anytime you can improve the depth of your pitching staff with a quality starter like Daniel Hudson, you love that.
They've been very encouraged with Daniel's progress from the surgery. 1-1 now to Andrelton Simmons.
Well, it may seem like a simple thing, Aaron Hill standing in for a bullpen session, but keep your eye, keep tracking that baseball into the hitting zone until eventually he's cleared to begin to swing that bat again.
2-2 now. That's where the medical news isn't so great. They took another look, and Aaron's hand, this thing's just slow to heal. I mean, it's just really going a lot slower than they thought. So that's been discouraging. Simmons goes down and gets it, and it drops in front of Martin Prado. So Andrelton Simmons snaps an 0 for 18 with a 1-out hit here in the 8th. Tying run will come to the plate.
That's the first hit for the Braves that didn't involve a Johnson. Reed Johnson with 2 knocks. Chris Johnson with 1 before that little floater into left field.
And here, look at this. Reed Johnson is 2 for 2. He's been on base 3 times, a double and a single and a walk. He's due up right now, and he's in the dugout. He's been called back, and Brian McCann will hit. So it'll be McCann and Hernandez here. This was Brian McCann last night.
Oh, this was big. And this is why he's pinch hitting in this situation. Reed Johnson, a high average hitter, good contact hitter. Brian McCann, a guy that can put one in the seats. Braves trailing by 2 with a runner on base, so he fires that bullet off the bench in Brian McCann.
There's a strike, 0-1. Simmons with decent speed at first, not really a base stealer. He's stolen 1 bag this year. He's been caught once. Tying run at the plate here with a 1 out in the 8th.
You mentioned Simmons doesn't have great speed. You see 0 for 2 lifetime against David Hernandez for Brian McCann. And what David Hernandez just did out there on the mound will probably keep him from even thinking about running. He held that ball for a 5 count before he delivered it to home plate. Just vary your rhythm. Don't allow those average base runners to get big leads and take off over there at first base. That time a quick pitch.
Got McCann to chase. It's 1-2. That thing just dropped. Justin Upton is on deck. Upton has walked twice and flied out. Left field line, not a play.
McCann in the past has had a lot of issues with his eyesight.
Yeah.
Problems with contacts, wore glasses for a while. Couple of LASIK surgeries.
Yeah, he and Freddie Freeman have similar issues like that. McCann chases, and Hernandez gets his 2nd strikeout of the inning. 2 down in the 8th.
Well, right back to that same breaking ball he got him to chase in the dirt earlier in the sequence with a similar result. Good pitch.
Quick AT&T Twitter poll question: is the fans boo if a player is traded from your team? Do you still follow them on Twitter? And it's almost 50-50. This is not a decision that you wrestle with, Bob.
I didn't follow him on Twitter when he was with us.
Here's Justin Upton tying run at the plate with 2 outs in the 8th. There's the strike. Hernandez ahead 0-1. Walked in the 1st, walked in the 3rd, flying out in the 6th. Oh, and 2 now. Put that one in the scrapbook, David.
First pitch was just a rolling slider for a called strike 1. This one is a nasty biting slider in the dirt over in that left-handed batter's box. Just missed it.
Ring him up, sit him down. 3 strikeouts in the 8th for David Hernandez. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Gregorius, Goldschmidt, and Chavez in the Arizona 8th. Memorial Day. It's Monday, May 27th, only 2 weeks away. So join us here at Chase Field. Diamondbacks and Texas Rangers for some interleague intrigue. Game 1, 12:40. First 5,000 fans get a snapback cap courtesy of Budweiser. Game 2, 6:40. But before then, we'll be outside for the Street Festival. Between games, music, beer garden, food trucks, the whole thing, all right outside Chase Field. Plus, when you buy a ticket for both games, you'll get free D-Bucks, and you can use those on merchandise and concessions right here at the ballpark. So call us now, 602-462-4600, or log on to dbacks.com/doubleheader. We saw Anthony Favaro last night, came in and threw 2 pitches, and he's back out there to work to the Diamondbacks here in the 8th. Gregorius, Goldie, and Chavez, 2, 3, and 4. Didi's 2-run single back in the 3rd, the only runs of the game. Jordan Schaefer stays in the game. He replaces Reed Johnson in center. Yes, he went. Jim Reynolds at 3rd. Hasn't done the Diamondbacks any favors down there.
Yeah, I think he got it right.
Yeah, he's got them right. He got them both right, actually. Heath Bell warming up. Didi has now hit safely in 14 of his first 17 games as a Diamondback. Left field, Gaddis. Right at him. FoxSportsArizona.com, all your online local sports coverage you can't find anywhere else. A lot of things to check out online right now. Jack Magruder on Justin Upton's return to Arizona. Tyler Lockman's analysis on tonight's game, and a whole lot more at FoxSportsArizona.com. Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie with a rare 0 for 3, struck out back in the 3rd. Paul came into the game tied for 5th in the league with 23 bases on balls this year. Only 5 other players in the league have a higher on base percentage than Goldie's 406, although that's dipped just a smidge here tonight. Spikes one there. It's 1-2.
Couple of baseball birthdays today, partner. It seems appropriate since the Braves are in town. Happy birthday to John Smoltz.
Smoltzy.
Yeah.
He's really good on TV.
He's pretty good on the mound, too.
Whether it's starting or closing.
Yep. Also, one of the greatest hitters to ever put on a uniform, George Brett, celebrating a birthday today.
Simmons gets a glove on it, but can't corral it, and Goldschmidt's aboard. Hey, fans, check out the new Grab and Go. Outside section 104 here at Chase Field. Great place to find all your favorite Pepsi products. Look for the QR and scan for your chance to win great prizes and find all your favorite Pepsi products. That's the Grab and Go outside section 104 right here. So what you do is you grab and then you go. Not complicated.
Pretty self-explanatory.
It's quick, yeah. Eric Chavez 2 for 3. Diamondbacks have out hit the Braves 8-4. Eric Chavez has now hit safely in 14 of his last 17 games. And 4 home runs and 12 RBIs over that stretch.
Almost threw a triple over there to first base. Freeman had to reach way back to his left to keep that one from going down the first baseline in foul territory.
That was coming right at Steve Sachs. Two and one.
Believe it or not, that's something you have to think about as a first base coach, where you position yourself in that coach's box or near that coach's box so that you're not in the way of an attempted pickoff.
Well,
if it happens to get through.
It's funny you mentioned that. There was a video about a week ago that went viral.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And that's all that need be said.
It happened to me one time in my first base coach's experience. I got hit by a pickoff attempt that got through the first baseman and hit me and stayed right there. Runner wasn't able to advance 90 feet. Tough way to learn a lesson.
I've always wondered, did you mind holding all the stuff? Because guys come up, they got pads and wristbands and all this stuff, and they always just hand it to the poor first base coach.
This was a while ago. The guys didn't wear all this stuff.
Oh, I see. Ball 4. 2 on, 1 out for the D-backs here in the 8th. Now it's like, you know, they went to Target or something and they're carrying all this stuff out of there. They got pads and protectors and gloves, sunglasses.
It gets to the point where occasionally in mid-inning, one of the bat boys has to run down and gather up all the pads and gloves and equipment that the first base coach is holding down there, because we know Saxey likes to have that stopwatch in one hand.
Yeah, he can't be holding all that stuff. He's got stuff to do. There's a stopwatch in the pocket right now. 2 guys on. Martin Prado singled his last time up. Martin has been on base twice tonight. He was hit by a pitch in the 2nd, singled in the 6th. He was on base 3 times last night. Chopper to Chris Johnson. Steps on the bag, throws across. That ends the inning. We'll go to the 9th. Diamondbacks with a 2-0 lead. The closers coming in. Diamondbacks lead it 2-0 in the ninth, and on for Arizona. The Heath Bell experience. He had a rough time of it his last time out. Blown save Sunday against the Phillies when he came out to start the ninth with a 2-0 lead, as he's doing here right now. That time he was on in relief of Brandon McCarthy. Heath gave up 2 runs on 4 hits in 2/3 of an inning, his second blown save of the year. And he's back out there to right the ship tonight.
Well, they say one of the best attributes any closer can have is a short memory. Hopefully that's the case with Heath Bell.
He's facing, we really mean it, the meat of the order here. These guys can mash Freeman, Gaddis, and Uggla. 4, 5, and 6 in the ninth. Freddie Freeman is 0 for 3, struck out in the third. Prior to Sunday, Heath had pitched scoreless ball in 11 of his previous 13 outings, with only 2 walks against 17 strikeouts over that span. He had saved 3 games in 3 days.
And part of his problem in that game against the Phillies the other day was he couldn't command his curveball. He was just really a one-pitch pitcher.
Missed inside there, 2-0. Cliff Pennington. Goldie drops the ball. Leadoff man on for the Braves here in the ninth.
That was one where Goldie's range may have hurt him on this play. He went far to his right until he gave way to Cliff Pennington, trying to find the base, find the ball, hustle back to the bag. There's a lot of things going on right at the tail end of this play. Unfortunately, Goldie can't come up with it. Pennington had to actually hold the ball an extra tick to give Paul a chance to get back to the bag.
So the tying run will come to the plate with no outs here. It's Evan Gaddis. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Heath Bell says when he gets in there and the leadoff guy gets on, it instantly means he has to shift gears and pitch a certain way. And there can be no let up at all. He has to get more nasty and not try to be too perfect, because if he does that, that's when he leaves one right over the middle of the plate.
Good sign this at bat, able to drop that first pitch curveball in there for a called strike. Came right back with it again on the second pitch, trying to get Gaddis to chase, but he was able to lay off.
When nobody's on, it's not that big a deal if he gets behind in the count, he says. But with a runner on, the situation instantly dictates that he get more aggressive early in the count and go right after guys. Gets it there. It's 1-2.
That curveball right at the bottom of the zone that time. Gaddis a dead fastball hitter, especially likes the high fastball, hitting out of that exaggerated crouch.
Struck him out. 1 down in the ninth.
Second baseman, Dan Uggla.
That high fastball becomes effective because he was able to throw his breaking ball for strikes earlier in the count. Gaddis tardy that time. Guy that's a dead fastball hitter, likes the ball up and swung late that time.
Dan Uggla has struck out twice and grounded into a double play. Uggla now with 51 strikeouts in 130 at bats this year. Drops it in there. It's 0-1. Duck and cover.
That's embarrassing. I don't care what level of ball you're talking about. Up there looking first pitch fastball. The pitcher throws a curve and duck out of the way. The ball broke right over the middle of the plate.
0-2. Just missed outside. Heath Bell saved 3 games in 3 days for the Diamondbacks, starting on that last road trip. And he said at the time, I feel like I'm back to my old self. Sliding into a save opportunity, I've done it for years. It's like getting on a bike or getting back behind the wheel of a car. Struck him out. 2 down in the 9th. 3rd strikeout tonight for Dan Uggla.
The Braves got off to a slow start as far as the strikeouts go in this game against Patrick Corbin, but they're making up for lost time here in the last couple innings against David Hernandez and Heath Bell.
When they don't homer, they don't win. Chris Johnson homered last night. They won. Johnson has been on base twice, walked in the 2nd, singled back in the 7th his last time up.
17th time this season that the Braves have struck out 10 times or more in a ball game.
They have not had a runner reach 3rd base tonight. Two and 0. Heath Bell trying to get the former Diamondback and snap this 3-game losing skid.
See how deep the Diamondbacks outfielders are playing. This is the no doubles defense. You want to make sure to keep Chris Johnson at first base should he hit a ball into the outfield.
2-2. Well, we had one blowout game, Bob, and we're right back to it.
This is what we're accustomed to.
Every night, home and away, these Diamondbacks, they make it interesting. We'll do it again at 2-2. Braves have been shut out 5 times this season. This would make it 6 and match the Marlins for the most in the major leagues. Another fun night at the ballpark. Center field, A.J. Pollock. And Heath Bell shuts the door. Diamondbacks win it 2-0. They snap the 3-game skid. Didi Gregorius, a 2-run single in the third. Patrick Corbin and the bullpen make it stand.
We talked about it in the open of the show. Rarely does a team look to their number 5 starter in the rotation to stop a losing streak. But Patrick Corbin is not your standard number 5 starter. What a great outing by him. Good finish by Heath Bell.
The Diamondbacks are now 8-0, unbeaten when Patrick Corbin starts the baseball game. They had a nice 5-game win streak rolling along. That quickly turned into a 3-game slide, but they've stopped that here. And Heath Bell, after having a tough one over the weekend against the Phillies, comes in and he is awesome here in the 9th. And it's 2-0. Let's go out to center field now for much more. Joe Borowski standing by with Todd Walsh. Todd.
Steve, thanks a lot.